Hey guys, welcome to Colin Oakley Yoga. Today we're going to be working on Cakorasana, a pretty advanced pose involving putting your leg behind your head and doing an arm balance, but it's not really about the peak pose, it's about doing all that prep work ahead, so don't feel like you can't do the practice just because the peak pose is too advanced for your practice quite yet. Let's get started. We'll start in child's pose, so bring the knees to the width of the mat and place the big toes together behind you. Anchor the hips on top of the heels, stretch the arms out in front. Rest the forehead, see if you can press down deeper into the mat to send the hips deeper back into the heels. On your inhale, feel the lungs, the chest, the belly, maybe press into the thighs, an expansion at the torso. And on the exhale, draw the belly in to help that air escape, sinking a little bit deeper into the posture. Let go of everything from outside of the classroom at this point. Anything you were doing before, whatever you're going to be doing after, go ahead and let that go here. Be present in the body, working with the breath. Deep breath in. And exhale, bring yourself up into tabletop. Place the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, or a little bit farther behind. We're going to open up the hips just by doing some circles in tabletop. So you can swing the hips out to the right, shoulders in front of the wrists as you dip the hips towards the floor. Send them over towards the left and then back as if you're coming back through child's pose. We'll circle 3 more times. I'm going counterclockwise first. Maybe you started clockwise and you can continue to go that way. Move with your breath. I'll start going the other way. Really trying to find some mobility in the hips, deepening the circles every time you come around for a new one. Come back into tabletop. We'll do some knee circles now. So knees are going to come underneath the hips, and you can tuck the toes if you'd like for a little bit more grounding. Bring the right knee out to the side. Draw the right knee forward towards the right tricep, down towards the left knee, back and out, back to the side. So we'll circle 3 more times. Flex the toes. See how wide you can make these circles. Slow and controlled too, not just moving quickly. Or reverse the circles. See if you can bring weight equal into both hands and maybe turn the biceps a little forward just to support the shoulders a little bit better. When you're done, bring the right knee back to center. We'll do this on the other side. Lift the left knee out to the side, flex the toes. Left knee will come towards the tricep, down towards the right knee, up towards the wall behind, and back out again. Keep on moving with the breath. If you're shifting a lot to the right side in order to do this, see if you can stabilize by drawing the belly in. Maybe bring in a little more weight into that left hand. Reverse circles. Just notice the fire maybe starting to build in the glutes and the thighs. And when you're done, both knees back on the floor. Come into plank. Stack the shoulders above the wrists, spread the fingers, claw into the mat and lift the knees. Press the backs of the legs towards the wall behind you. A little puff at the upper back here, so we're not sagging into the shoulders but lifting away from the floor. Deep breath in. And exhale, press back into your downward dog. Lift the hips. Draw the belly in and lengthen through the sides of the body, so see if you can find a kind of lift up through the wrists, the outsides of the forearms, lifting up into the triceps, the armpits, those intercostal muscles that run up and down the ribs. Press the whole rib cage away from the floor, lengthen up through the obliques, and lift the hips a little bit higher. Maybe turn the gaze in between the thighs if that doesn't quite work quite yet. Do some yeses or nos with the head. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. And exhale, bend the right knee, look forward, place the right foot in between the hands. We're coming into side angles, so left toes will find the floor and face the wide edge of the mat. It's the first one today, so you can bring the forearm onto the thigh if that's a little bit better, or the right hand in the inside of the foot, or maybe the outside using a block. Inhale the left hand up towards the ceiling, revolve the palm forward, and while squeezing the left shoulder blade in, reach out forward, maybe gazing over the fingertips. Inhale, widen the inner thighs, send the hips towards the floor. Exhale, bring the left hand onto the floor. Revolve low lunge from here, so you'll pick up the back toes, power up the back of the leg, and inhale the right hand up towards the ceiling now. Like extended side angle, revolve the right palm towards the front of the room, reach out forward. Inhale, and exhale, bring the right hand to the floor. We'll switch sides, right foot meets the left, downward dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, step the left foot forward this time, in between the hands. Right heel comes onto the floor, face the toes out 90 degrees. Left hand can come to the outside of the foot maybe. Reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. Revolve the palm forward and reach out. Deep breath in. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Pick up the back toes. This time we'll twist over towards the left, keeping the left knee above the ankle. Revolve that left palm forward. Reach out, maybe turning the gaze up towards the fingertips, making sure they're reaching up and away from the body. Inhale. Exhale, left hand to the floor, step back, downward dog. Deep breath in, we'll do that 2 more times. Exhale, bring the right foot forward. Inhale, reach up for side angle pose, turn the right palm forward and reach out. Deep breath in. Exhale, left hand finds the floor, reach the right palm up this time. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward. And exhale, right hand finds the floor, step back, downward dog. Inhale, draw the belly and send the hips back. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Partridge, reach the right hand up. Turn the palm forward. Reach out towards the front of the room. Inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand on the floor. Revolve low lunge, lift the left fingertips. Turn that palm towards the front of the room and reach out, pressing up through the back leg, sending the hips back. Inhale. Exhale, both hands to the floor, press yourself into downward dog. Inhale, we'll do this 1 more time. Exhale, bring the right foot forward, back heel down, inhale the left fingertips up, turn the palm forward and extend forward. Left hand finds the floor, switch sides, come onto the right toes, extend the right fingertips. Turn the palm forward, reach out. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes to the floor. Switch sides, left foot comes forward. Inhale up, side angle pose. Exhale, turn the palm forward. Inhale, reach out. Switch sides, right hand on the floor, revolve low lunge. Turn that palm, extend forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the left hand to the floor, step yourself back into downward dog. Smooth out the breath. See if maybe the pace of that breath is quickened, try to slow it down. Deep breath in, and exhale into plank. We'll find a high plank. This is going to help us for our arm balances earlier. So you're going to puff up the upper back, tuck the hips forward, come deeper onto the toes. The chin can come in towards the chest, but look forward. Keep on spreading the shoulder blades while squeezing the pecs towards one another to lift the back of the heart. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Chaturanga, keeping the torso straight. We'll bring the hands a little bit farther back for Cobra, so send the elbows back, press to the tops of the feet, send the pelvis into the floor. Inhale, curl the heart forward, lengthen through the top of the head. It's not about how high you lift off the floor here, but how you can curl the heart forward and send the shoulder blades back. Inhale. And exhale, gently bring yourself back onto the floor. Press yourself into downward dog. Deep breath in. On the exhale, bring the right foot in between the hands and come up to Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Right knee comes above the ankle. Splay the left toes up 45 degrees and inhale the arms upright. Can bring the arms all the way together here. Maybe interlace into your Warrior or your Vira Mudra, so the first finger and the thumb extend. Keep on bringing the left side of the body forward and the right hip back to square the hips, but press back through the outside of that left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, Warrior Two. Bring the back foot back just a little bit. Toes are going to face the long edge of the mat and reach in two opposing directions. Make sure we're externally rotating both thighs here, spreading them away from the midline and sending them back into space so you can send the tail a little bit deeper towards the floor. Inhale. And exhale, come back into Warrior One. We're going to find Humble Warrior, so this involves bringing the hands behind the back. Clasp the palms, keep the palms relatively close here as you try to bring the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, maybe lengthening the palms towards the floor. If you need to keep the hands at the lower back, go ahead and do that, or bring a strap in so you can lengthen the arm bones back into space. On the inhale, lift the chest and the elbows deeper down, the knuckles deeper down, and exhale, we'll fold over the thigh. Couple variations you can take here. Either you can rest the torso on top of that right thigh, right shoulder can come to the inside of the right knee, or you can lower enough to bring the head towards the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades in more, send the knuckles towards the front of the room. Make sure both legs are powered up and the hips are lifting rather than sagging that lower body towards the floor. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands slowly to the lower back. Bend the elbows and the hands can come onto the floor. Press the right foot back to meet the left. Do your Vinyasa. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, pressing through the tops of the feet. Tuck the tail, send the shoulders back. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward dog. Deep breath in, we'll do that on the other side. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands this time. Place the left knee above the ankle. Turn the right toes out 45 degrees and inhale yourself up. Maybe find your Warrior Mudra here, your hand gesture, but you don't have to. Turn the right inner thigh forward, but power up through the back of the leg. Keep on trying to keep that left knee on top of the ankle. Deep breath in, lift the arms, the torso higher away from the floor. And exhale, find your Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. I'm going to bring my back foot back just a little bit. Make sure the knee is still above the ankle and turning more towards the pinky side of the toe. We don't want that knee to splay inward, but to externally rotate. Draw the shoulder blades in a little bit, but extend out through the fingertips. Lift the heart more. Reach up through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale back into Warrior One. We'll find a Humble Warrior, starting with your Bound Warrior One. This time find your reverse clasp, your more uncomfortable clasp. Draw the elbows in, maybe keeping a little bend at the elbows, extend the knuckles down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, but send the arm bones back. And exhale, we'll fold over that front thigh. Again, torso can come on top of the left thigh. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper by drawing shoulder to knee, but pressing the shoulder back into the knee back into the shoulder. Or you can lengthen the crown of the head all the way onto the floor. The tendency may be for the hips to split out towards the left. See if you can keep them kind of even like they were for your Warrior 1 or your Warrior 2. Relax the head, keep on sending the arm bones forward. Deep breath in. And exhale, both hands find the floor. Step yourself back in a plank, do your Vinyasa. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Know you can always come to child's pose to rest whenever you need that. Listen to the body. It will be your best guide for today. Inhale. And exhale, step the right foot forward in between the hands. We're going a little bit deeper into our lunge shapes. Bring the left knee onto the floor, top of the foot as well, and find Anjaneyasana. Maybe the hands stay on the floor, onto the thigh. You can extend upward. Make sure the tail is tucked here. If the tail starts to lift, maybe lift the whole hips, send the tail down, and go as far forward as you can without the tail coming back up. Squeeze the front foot towards the left knee. Draw the left knee in forward towards the right foot. Inhale. And exhale, both hands to the floor. Left hand is going to stay on the floor here. Twist over towards the right, and we'll find a quad stretch. So bring the left heel in. Flex the toes. You can reach back, finding the outside of the foot preferably. Maybe lift the hips up to the heel to draw them together and then send the hips towards the floor, or just bend the elbow to the side and bring the heel directly forward. You can stay more upright or maybe come onto the forearm. If that right knee wants to splay out, keep on drawing it in towards the midline. Deep breath in. Exhale, gently let go of that foot to the floor without slingshotting it. Tuck the back toes. Bring the hands onto the floor and send the hips back for Ardha Hanumanasana half split. You can lift the right toes and extend them up towards the ceiling. The more you power up the toes here, the easier it's going to be to open up the bottoms of the legs. We're also stretching the hamstrings here, but we want to get into all those smaller muscles as well. Keep on sending the hips back, bowing forward as well. Inhale. Exhale, bring the right foot to the floor. We're going to try a trickier transition back into plank pose. Bring the right hand on the inside of the right foot. You can lift the back knee or maybe keep it on the floor. Either is fine for now. See if you can bring the right shoulder underneath that right thigh. Maybe press the calf forward to draw the shoulder under. If you can bring the shoulder under, maybe you come into airplane arms, extending the arms in two opposing directions. That's not quite working. Hands can stay on the floor. Go ahead and bring the hands onto the floor here. Lift the back knee. We'll find Kundanyasana 2 pose here, starting by bringing the right heel off the floor. Squeeze the calf in towards the shoulder. Maybe you stay right here, or you can extend that right heel forward. Chaturanga the arms, puff the upper back. Maybe bring the left toes off the floor. Reach the legs in two opposing directions. Maybe you kick the right foot back to meet the left, and do your Vinyasa. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Any belly down back bend will do. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward dog. You can always find movement in your downward dog or stay still, up to you here. Maybe find any areas of the body that still feel a little sticky, resistant, stagnant. See if you can move into them and give them a little bit more life. Deep breath in. And then bring the left foot to the floor this time. Vinyasa, low lunge. Bring the right knee to the floor and the top of the foot. Again, you can stay hands on the floor or the thigh, or you can reach up. The more you extend the arms away from the body, really the less weight the legs have to take on. So draw the belly in, pull the torso away from the floor. Send the left heel energetically towards the right thigh towards the left heel. Draw up through the pelvic floor, lift a little bit higher through the torso. Inhale. And exhale the hands to the floor. Right hand finds the floor, but we'll bring the left hand to the thigh just to curl over towards the left side. We'll find that quad stretch, so bring the right heel in, maybe grabbing the inside of the foot. See if you can bring the heel towards the glute and lower the hips more, so we're lengthening through the front of the right thigh here. Maybe you stay upright, or you can bring the forearm onto the floor as well. Flex the toes into the hand, use the hand, bending the elbow to draw the heel in a little bit closer. Inhale. Exhale, gently let go of that foot. Come back into your half split, so hips are going to come back. Lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. Drag the whole bottom of the leg into the floor a little bit deeper, maybe engaging this left quadricep to find some space behind the knee. You can keep on folding over the leg if you'd like, deepening the hamstring stretch. Inhale. Exhale, bring the foot onto the floor. We'll find a lizard lunge shape here. Right knee can stay on the floor for now as you bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot and try to bring the left shoulder underneath the thigh. It helps if you kind of press the calf forward to make a little more space. If you can dip this slow, maybe you airplane the arms out to the sides, pressing the left shoulder into the thigh, squeezing the thigh back into the shoulder. To go deeper, hands will come onto the floor, lift the back knee. Squeeze the calf in towards the shoulder to lift the heel. You can chaturanga the arms, straighten out that front leg if you'd like. You can easily just kick the left leg back to meet the right, or come into your balance pose, Vinyasa 2, reaching the legs in two opposing directions, puff up the upper back a little. Inhale, and exhale, step back into chaturanga. You can inhale in upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Slow down that breath a little. Notice the heart is beating out of the chest. Bring some awareness into that and just slow it down. We'll go a little bit deeper into our lunge sequence. Inhale. And on the exhale, step the right foot onto the outside of the right hand, bringing the right hand in just a little bit. We'll bring the left knee onto the floor and do our funky lizard lunge. So the right toes are going to turn out 45 degrees. If this is comfortable, send the knee out and lift the inside of the foot, really digging the outside of the foot into the floor. Stay upright here. Maybe you can lower onto forearms. It helps me if I kind of sway the hips side to side. The more you come out towards that right side, the more you're going to externally rotate the right thigh and open up the hip. So go as far as the body is willing to permit. Don't try to force anything here. Really keep those toes active and flexing. That's how you're going to protect your ankle, knee, and hip joint as well. Okay, come back to center. Come onto the hands. We'll try funky lizard side plank here. So you'll come onto the left toes initially, then come onto the outside of that foot. Bring the left hand onto the floor, stack the shoulder above the wrist, send the bicep forward. Inhale the arm right and extend forward as you lift the hips high, stretching through the outside of that right hip. And inhale, lengthen back. We'll do this 2 more times. Exhale, reach forward, round the back. Inhale, lengthen. Send those fingertips back, lift the heart. Exhale one more time, send that right hip up, almost straightening out the right leg. And exhale, lengthen back. From here, normal side plank. Maybe you bring both hands onto the floor to bring the right foot above the left, or just with that right hand lifted, come into your Vashisthasana variation. Try to stack the body, squeezing the inner thighs, sending energy out through the heels. A little counter pose for all those lunges, forward folding shapes. You can bring the right toes behind and come into wild thing, reaching the right fingertips forward, send the pelvis towards the sky, turn the gaze towards the right fingers. Draw the belly in, lengthen the torso. Deep breath in. And exhale, come back into your plank. Send the hips back, downward dog. Reset. Inhale. And exhale. This time look forward, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Right knee can come down onto the floor. You can start more upright here. Maybe the left toes turn out, and this is about as far as you go today. Otherwise, you can start to bring the knee out and open up the inside of the foot, really grounding through the outside. Stay onto your hands or lower onto forearms. Draw the belly in, rotate it towards the mat to help square the heart and the chest forward. We did a kind of a lunge where we were twisting out to the side. Now we're going to close that twist down. As you send the belly inward, send the thigh outward to help externally rotate the left thigh. Maybe even a gentle push can help you open up a little bit as well. Make your way back on the hands. Onto the right toes, come onto the outside of the right foot. Stack the wrist above the shoulder, shoulder above the wrist, turn the bicep forward. You can open up into your side plank. Make sure to lift the hips and extend away from that shoulder, still turning the bicep forward. Deep breath in. And maybe you find your wild thing here by bringing the left toes behind, lift the hips up and reach the left fingertips towards the wall in front of you. Draw the belly in. Lift the heart, curl it forward. Make sure you're pressing down equally into both legs here. Inhale, and exhale, go ahead and find your plank. Lift the hips, downward dog. From here, we'll find our way to the floor doing an Ashtanga jump through. If you don't know what that is, I'll break it down for you. If you do, you can kind of just hop your way onto the floor. It's going to be a little bit easier if you bring these blocks in. Place them wide enough so you can send your legs through. Come back into downward dog, and then through plank. You can start by lifting the right foot and bringing it behind the right block, and then the right foot can lift and come behind the left block. Try lifting the hips and squeezing the thighs inward. Puff the upper back, bringing the knees in closer. You can then step the left foot forward, and then the right, kind of hovering here, and when you're ready, just extend the legs out in front of you. Otherwise, maybe you also use the block so you can do this a little bit faster. From downward dog to plank, lift the thighs in for a version of Lolasana. Bring the thighs through for another version of Lolasana. Extend the legs in celibate's pose, and then seat yourself on the floor. We're going to go a little bit deeper into our celibate's pose, Brahmacharyasana. It's kind of half of that Cakorasana pose. You'll see when we get to it. You can start by bringing the blocks 3/4 of the way to the knees. If they're too far back, you're going to lift, and the hips aren't going to be able to come behind. You want some weight behind and some in front in order to balance. Place the blocks into the floor. Send the shoulders in front of the wrists. Very important. In order to balance, shoulders must be in front of the wrists. Puff the upper back. Start by lifting the hips. Maybe you see right here, or you can squeeze inner thighs, send the hips back, and lengthen the heels out in front. This is your Brahmacharyasana right here. Hold, and then slowly lower. You can keep a little bend at the elbows, or you can straighten them out a little bit more if you have the strength. We'll try that one more time. Keep the blocks, or maybe you get rid of them. It's going to be a little bit harder. You can always bring them back in. So, hands 3/4 towards the knees. Start by sending the shoulders forward, elbows back a little, and puff up the upper back. Draw the hips back, squeeze the inner thighs, send the heels forward, flex the toes. Draw the belly in. Inhale. And exhale, slowly lower back down. You may not find a lot of elevation or may not be able to hold it for a long period of time. That's perfectly fine. So in order for the Brahmacharyasana to look more like Cakorasana, your Partridge pose, our peak pose for today, the legs are going to have to lift up. In order to do this, hips are going to have to come forward. I'll demonstrate. Hands 3/4 of the way, puff the upper back, squeeze inner thighs, come into your Brahmacharyasana. Send the hips forward, extend the heels up towards the ceiling. Can't hold it for long, just see what you can do. You can kind of propel yourself forward a little bit and sway if you have that. Otherwise, just stay in your celibates pose, and that's okay as well. Obviously out of breath a little bit here, it's a lot of work, so if you can't get into these poses, don't worry about it. Just be happy in the prep pose you're doing. Okay, we'll find some seated hip openers. Starting with Dandasana, so sit up nice and tall. Hands can come to the sides to help lift the heart. Send the shoulders down away from the ears. Squeeze the inner thighs, send the heels forward and the tail back. One of the big components of getting into your leg behind the head is through your baby cradle. So we'll start by bringing the left foot in. Grab onto the left knee with the left hand and to the left foot with the right hand. Draw the foot in a little bit closer. Press the inside of the foot over towards the wall beside you, so we're seeing less of the inside of that foot, and you can rock your baby side to side. Keep on firming the outside of the calf, making your base strong, that right leg extending and flexing. Maybe you lift onto the right seat a little bit more to get a little bit more extension into that left hip joint. And come back to center. So we'll try a modified version of Archer's pose, a Karma Dhanurasana, if you've ever heard of it. Keep on with this left shin, see if you can parallel it a little more to the chest. Draw the right elbow back, squeeze it into the chest, press the foot into the hand. From here you can fold a little, coming onto the front of the pelvis. See if you can find the right big toe with the left fingers. If you can't, just grab onto a strap and find it. So what's going to happen here is you're probably going to round a little bit in the spine. Lift the heart, draw the belly in, lift the shin as well. Press that right leg bone into the floor stronger. Press into the seat a little bit stronger as well. Deep breath in. Exhale, gently release the right toes and send the left foot out to meet the right. We'll do that on the other side, starting with baby cradle. Bring the right foot in. Hold the right knee with the right hand and place the right foot into the left hand. See if you can press the big toe mound forward so you see less of the inside of the foot. Firm the outer calf and the thigh. Start to rock side to side, sitting up nice and tall. Definitely keep on trying to come onto the front of the seat rather than rounding the lower back. If you want to lean onto that left seat, open up a little bit more out towards the side. Go ahead and find that. It's going to help if your left leg is really strong. We're balancing all on that one leg there. Come back to center. Keep the shin lifted. Let go of the right hand and see if you can find the big toe. If you find the big toe, lift the shin a little bit higher. So one thing you can do here, if you keep on rolling back into that lower back, bring a blanket underneath the seat so you can sit a little bit higher. It's really going to help to elevate the hips. Not too late to do that either. Deep breath in. Exhale, gently let go of the big toe. Send the right foot out to meet the left. You can shake out the legs if you'd like, rock the toes side to side. We'll find a Paschimottanasana just to clear that out. Bring the legs all the way together, sit up nice and tall in your staff pose. Inhale the arms upright, and exhale, fold forward. You can find the feet or maybe a strap along the balls of the feet if you need to. Inhale, flatten out the spine, maybe pull the butt cheeks out to the side to ground in a little bit deeper through the seat, and exhale, forward fold. I really like to concentrate on breathing in my forward folds. We're not using too much strength here, little balance too, so see if you can just deepen the breath, make some space just by bringing more air into the lungs and drawing the vertebrae of the spine just a little bit more apart. Try not to round the cervical spine by bringing the chin in towards the chest, but lengthen forward through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, you can go ahead and walk yourself back up. So there are more advanced variations of those archer poses, Karna Dhanurasana, and we'll try some of those right now. So you'll keep the left leg extended, right knee's going to come in, and you'll grab onto the right big toe, first two fingers, peace fingers, thumb in between them. Sit up tall, start by bringing the right heel back and the knee in, kind of like a seated happy baby. Try to bring the foot parallel towards the knee if you can. Left hand can come to the floor as you bend the elbow, draw the right knee back, kind of like you're ready to shoot that bow. Stay right here, maybe you lean forward and you find the left big toe. Anchor down through that left seat, keep on opening up the right hip. So remember that happy baby where we were all the way on the left leg and opening up at the right hip joint. Same thing right here, except we're holding the knee back and holding onto the left toes at the same time. Try not to roll onto the left seat as I'm kind of doing here. I'm trying to bring myself back to the inside of the left thigh. It's not easy. Inhale. And maybe extend that right leg here for this variation of archer's pose just by pressing the foot into the first two fingers. Keep on drawing the belly in. You'll want to more square the hips towards the front of the room for this one rather than opening them out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, gently bring both feet back to the floor. Sit up tall. You can reset here, rocking side to side on the sit bones, maybe doing a little cat and cow movement by back bending and forward bending, rounding. We'll do the other side. Again, a blanket's really going to help if you couldn't quite come into these poses. I promise you that one little prop is going to make a huge difference. So we'll go for the other side. Bring the left foot in, really anchoring down through the whole right leg, seat, thigh, calf, heel. Grab onto the left big toe. First come upright, bring the knee back like you're coming into a seated happy baby. Press the foot into the fingers, but draw the elbow back to bring the knee back a little bit deeper. Maybe you just stay here with the right hand on the thigh or the floor to help support, or you fold forward a little, come all the way onto the right seat, lift the left butt cheek, grab onto the right big toes. See if you can balance here. Having a little bit of trouble today, that's okay. Keep on opening at the left hip. Really draw the belly in. We want to decrease the amount of rounding in the spine, if at all possible. Next stage, extend the left heel, lengthen out that leg, try to square the hips more back towards the front of the room. Keep on drawing the leg bone back, left leg anyway. Both shoulder blades are squeezed in behind to help send the heart a little bit farther forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, gently release that left foot to the floor. Sit up tall here, maybe rocking side to side, twisting out a little bit. I'm feeling this a little bit into my lower back, so I'm going to want to reset a little before I go any deeper into my forward bends. When you're ready, we'll find a Supta Paschimottanasana. So same thing as our straight-legged forward fold sitting down, except we'll come onto the back. Lengthen the heels up for your supine staff pose. You can grab onto the big toes if you like. Draw the shins in towards the head. You'll lift the hips here. If you bring them too much off the floor, you're going to be coming into a plow pose. So it's a constant struggle between drawing the tail towards the floor and bringing the legs closer in towards the forehead. Tail towards the floor, legs in towards the forehead. Engage the quadriceps, pressing them into the abdomen to help straighten out the backs of the legs a little bit more. Deep breath in. And you can find your way all the way onto the floor. We'll take a little Shavasana here, so extend the legs all the way out in front. Just feel those natural curvatures of the spine. Slow down that heart rate, that energy. See if you can slow down the mind as well. So here comes the hard part. We'll start by coming into leg behind the head from the floor just because it's a little bit easier. So extend the left heel down onto the floor and bring the right knee in towards the chest. Draw the belly in and flex both toes. Go ahead and reach the upper body off the floor and we'll come into Supine Pigeon. So grab onto the left foot or the right foot and the right knee here and see if you can bring them in towards the chest. Imagine that you have your shin bone on the floor like a pigeon and you're resting the chest into it. Gravity's kind of helping you out in that pigeon prep, and this one you're going to have to use the arms to bring the shin a little bit closer. Keep on reaching the left heel down, lifting the right knee up. So you can stay right here, or maybe you grab onto the foot with both hands. Bring the upper body off the floor and send that right leg behind the head. I like to grab onto my left thigh with the right hand and pull my right shoulder blade in to get a little bit more comfort in the leg behind the head. Flex the right toes and reach the right shin up into the head so you're not rounding the spine as much, but extending the cervical spine. Maybe you stay right here, you can bring hands to heart center. If you can use the left elbow to prop yourself up, come into a seated position. It's going to be a lot harder here. You'll have to keep on shifting that shoulder behind and sitting up taller. Keep the belly in. Hands can come to the floor. Stage 1 for Cakorasana. Lift the hips. You can stay right here. Puff the upper back, kind of like Brahmacharyasana. Bring the hips onto the floor. Stage 2, lift the hips. Maybe lift the left heel, sending the energy forward. Hips are going to have to come a little bit back from here. Hips can come onto the floor again. Stage 3, press into the mat, lift the hips, extend the left heel up, send the hips forward, lengthen the back of the head into the shin, turn the gaze upward, point the toes. Deep breath in, and exhale, slowly lower. Maybe bring the right foot out from behind the head, sitting up, or you can come back to a supine position. Be really careful with this right hip. You're going to want to use the hands to help send it out in front. Maybe you come onto the back for a little bit of a rest. Just see how you're feeling into the body. Sometimes I can have some upper back strain or neck strain just from having to push that leg behind my head. See if you can soften all of that before we do the other side. So leg behind the head by itself is already a really difficult position. Don't feel bad if you're just on the floor putting the leg behind the head. It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice in order to have that leg behind the head comfortable enough to do a bunch of poses with the leg behind the head. Okay, we'll go into the other side. Extend the right leg on the floor. Bring the left knee in. Flex both sets of toes. Draw the belly and anchor that right leg into the floor heavily. So you can bring the left foot into the right hand. Maybe do a little baby cradle here, supine. Or you can bring the shin in towards the chest. Maybe lift the chest towards the shin at first. Press the left foot flatly into the hand, firm the outer calf, And then maybe you find the floor here at the back of the head, bringing the shin with you. Keep on lengthening through the insides of the thighs, pulling them apart a little bit deeper. When you're ready, grab onto that left foot with both hands. Bring the upper body off the floor. Loop this left shoulder to the inside of the thigh and bring the foot behind the head. It's going to be a little more ankle or even shin if possible. That's going to make it safer anyway. You can start by flexing the toes, press the head back into the leg. Maybe you stay supine, hands to heart center. Keep these toes nice and active. It's very essential you do that. Keep on sending the left knee out a little bit more to open up the hip as well. If you can come to a seated position, find your seat. Keep on adjusting. I'm going to keep on bringing that left leg back behind the head a little bit more so I can sit upright a little bit straighter. So your 3 variations here. Hands come on the floor out in front. Again, if they're too far behind, there's going to be no room to lift the hips. Out in front, send the hips back a little. Heel can stay on the floor, variation 1. If you'd like to go deeper, variation 2, send the hips back, reach the right heel forward, really activating that right quadricep to lift the leg off the floor. If you'd like to go into the full version of Partridge, press through the hands, puff the upper back, draw the belly in, lift the right heel up, point the toes up towards the ceiling, send the hips more forward, turn the gaze upward. Make sure you're breathing, deep breath in, and exhale, slowly lower. I'm going to round the back and gently take my left leg out, being really careful as I place it all the way onto the floor. We'll take another mini Shavasana so you can lengthen out the legs, gently come onto the back. Really try to soften any areas of the body here that may feel stiff. Again, my upper back around my shoulders is always the hard part of putting the leg behind my head. I keep on pressing the head back into the leg. I'll try to let that go a little. You can rock the head side to side, massaging the back of the head. Maybe you just give yourself a little hug. Rounding the upper back a little, squeezing the biceps in. Take as much time as you need on the floor after this. So we did a lot of work with external rotation here. We're going to go ahead and do some internal rotation, doing some windshield wipers, just for a counter pose. Widen the feet to the width of the mat, flex the toes, and turn the knees over towards the right side. You can place the right ankle on top of the left thigh, reach behind, grab onto the right wrist, and pull into opposing directions. Draw the belly in, especially on the end of that exhale to help aid with the twist. If you'd like to bring the left shoulder blade a little bit deeper into the mat, or maybe the left hip as well, you can find that. Deep breath in. Exhale, uninterlace arms and legs. Make sure the feet are wide again, flex the toes, firm the outer calves and the hips. Drop the knees gently over towards the left. You can bring the left ankle on top of the right thigh, or better a little more shin than ankle. Drag downward and forward, reach overhead, clasp onto the left wrist and pull overhead. Kind of reach out at a diagonal. I like to reach over towards the right a little bit and a little over towards the left with my knees. Deep inhale. Exhale, gently come out of the pose. We'll take a twist so you can lengthen the left leg on the floor and draw the right knee in towards the chest. Take hold of that knee, bring it all the way over to the right side, and extend the left hand in the opposite direction. You can turn the gaze over towards that left thumb if you'd like, and pull the left knee in a little bit deeper using that right hand. If you'd like to go for a more advanced variation, maybe you extend the left leg out towards the side. Inhale. Exhale, bring that knee up with you. Come onto the back. We'll switch sides. Grab that right knee. Extend the left leg. Come all the way over to the left side. Reach the right arm out in the opposite direction. You're going to draw the belly in and turn the torso over towards the opposite side of the thigh. Imagine grounding that right shoulder blade and the right hip a little bit deeper towards the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring that right knee up with you. And then lengthen both legs down onto the floor. One last thing I'm going to do here before Shavasana. I'm just going to use this block to do a little supported fish pose. A lot of rounding in that upper back as we put the leg behind the head. So I'm going to try to open up that space using this block. There are different variations of this pose. If you wanted 2 blocks and a strap to extend the arms behind, you can do that. But I'm just going to place the tallest setting of the block in between my shoulder blades. Maybe the medium setting is a better fit for you. Just see how it feels when you come into it. You can always change the block after you've come into the pose. So I'm going to extend my arms back, maybe interlacing the hands in my Vira Mudra and drawing the thumbs towards the floor. I'll squeeze the shoulder blades in and just notice the lengthening at the abdomen, at the heart. I'll soften the neck and the chin and just allow gravity to lengthen my head towards the floor. When you're ready, come into Shavasana. Take as long as you need in that supported fish pose. You can also do supported bridge as well if you needed a little bit more of a back bend before we close. Otherwise, lengthen the legs out in front. Wide enough so the toes rotate outwards. Bring the arms wide as well so those palms rotate upwards. Let the body go. Maybe starting at the arms and legs. Allow those bones to settle a little bit more deeply into the mat. If you need to move something a little to find a more comfortable position, do that. Soften the belly, the heart. If you're still breathing these Ujjayi breaths, go ahead and just come back to that subconscious rhythm of breath. We're always breathing without even noticing, but this time just take notice of the quality or the sound. Clear the mind. Try not to engage any thoughts that are pulling you away from the body or the breath or the present. Just keep on letting them go. Remember to like, comment, or subscribe to my videos if you like. Namaste.